Okay, Alexander, let's talk about Germany. And things are going from dark to darker. And this time we're talking about banning a political party, a main political party, actually. Whether you like them or not, it is a main political party, and that is the AfD. What's going on here with the AfD? This
Well,
is are the globalist elites afraid of something?
well, they self-evidently are because under the pressure of the economic crisis in Germany, which is getting worse by the day, we've talked about this many times. There's now problems apparently with LNG. I mean, all this, LNG was going to come to the rescue. Which I was reading only today that LNG from the US, there's more problems there's capacity issues. Whatever you could do there has apparently been done. So anyway, problems are growing. The economy is problems in the economy, the German economy are growing. I had a description from a British traveller of what travelling on the German railway system is like. And she described a railway system in chaos. Admittedly, the problems there apparently are long-standing, but it's clear they've got much worse recently. Anyway, one party is surging, it's gaining support, it is the AfD. I understand it's now polling 16%, which is its highest ever level. It's potentially on the brink of an electoral breakthrough. It's a chaotic party. I don't like everybody who's involved in it. There's some intelligent people, there's some people, who I think have a lot of promise. There's other people who I would probably not approve of, but whatever. But it's a party and it is presenting alternatives. It's the party which is increasingly saying, that the sanctions war has gone far enough, that it's all going hideously wrong, that we've got to start changing course. It's, as a result, it's connecting with more and more people in Germany who are becoming increasingly unhappy, discontented, angry even about the direction that events are taking. So how does the German government respond? It responds by talking about banning we say German government, I should say the German political elite respond. They're now increasingly talking about simply banning the AfD. In other words, banning the one party that is in opposition to the course that the political class is taking at this time. And some of the demands are coming from Die Linke. This is this left-wing party which was previously dominant in East Germany until the AfD came along and took away an awful lot of its support. And that's understandable, I suppose, why Die Linke wants to destroy a political rival, especially given that Die Linke itself is in the process of increasing collapse. But of course, other people who are talking about banning the AfD are voices in the SPD, one of the three parties that make up the German coalition, Olaf Scholz's party, and I suspect that before long we're going to hear more demands from other people, from the Greens, for example. So that's the response, that's the reaction on the part of certain members of the German political class. They see a protest wave rising, they see a political force challenging their policies growing in strength, and their response is to ban it.
Yeah, but is it just that simple to ban a party? I mean, are you aware of the legal process or what needs to be done to just ban a party in Germany? Is that even possible?
Yes, I think it probably is, actually. That's the trouble. You see, the German constitution, which, remember, isn't properly speaking a constitution at all, it's the founding law, because it was a law that was basically imposed on Germany by the Western Allies after the Second World War. There's been talk at various times of replacing it with a proper constitution, but it's never really happened. Anyway, that law was created in a way that does make it possible, in my opinion, to ban political parties if they are somehow labelled as belonging either to the very right-wing extreme or to the very left-wing extreme. Now, I have to be careful what I say because I don't want to start using the F and F words and all those kind of words too obviously. But remember, there's been a concerted campaign for many years now to label the AfD as belonging to that extreme, that right-wing extreme. I have to say it. I think that there are some people within the AfD, I don't think they're anywhere close to being any more than a fringe, but they do exist, who lend themselves sometimes through some of the things they say to being to that particular label. So I think in Germany you probably could do it. I think that, the mechanisms for doing it are probably there. And I think also in Germany, being the country that it is, especially in West Germany, the former West Germany, there would be some support for it. I mean, when I say support, there would be some support from sections of the population to do it. Of course, in East Germany, the reaction would be very different. I think there would be a lot of opposition, a lot of anger if it were done. But I can see it being done, and I can see it, if it is done, surviving legal challenges. There would be legal challenges. And I can see some people in West Germany supporting it, precisely because, imposing this label in Germany can be so effective.
What does the political landscape look like without an AfD? I mean, where does the power shift towards? What do all these supporters, these voters who do support AfD, which is, once again, a significant party? It's not like a party this is not like a 1% party. This is a significant party. Where do all these people go? These people are disenfranchised. That's it.
Exactly.
And who consolidates on this power? Who does this really benefit?
Well, the people it consolidates, at least in the short term, is the political establishment, the SPD, the CDU, the Greens, all of those. But the party that I think imagines itself as the immediate beneficiary in Eastern Germany, which remember is where the AfD is strongest, would be Die Linke. And I think a lot of the people in Die Linke, I think, delude themselves by thinking that, if you get rid of the AfD, all of these people who used to vote for us once upon a time when we were the people in opposition to the establishment, the political class, that all of these people would come to us. I think that they will be disappointed, because I think that what's happened is that the Die Linke making these calls to ban the AfD confirms what a lot of people in Eastern Germany already believe, which is that Die Linke, which is, by the way, going through a split at the moment, the Die Linke, the dominant forces in Die Linke, are themselves already now assimilated in the German political class. So, of course, that's a very good question. Where do all of these people go? They'll be very, very angry that the party they support has disappeared. And I don't know where they would turn. The danger, and it's a real danger, and, Germany is Germany, it's got a history. And I don't mean, going all the way back to the 30s and 40s. I mean, remember in the 1970s, Germany had, a pretty strong terrorist movement, and that was in West Germany. And in the 60s, there was a whole massive student, or rather, not just a student, but student-led protest movement in Germany, which was, pretty volatile and pretty went in for a lot of direct action, let's put it like that. In Germany, if you start taking away political options from people, then it's not impossible that you could start to see protests moving from the ballot box to the streets. And, Germany has a history of that. And in East Germany, where there's already lots of discontents, and many people in East Germany still feel resentments about the way in which German unification was carried out, I can see that this thing could take quite a potent force on the streets if it ever came to that. I think it'd be a massive event. I think banning a party like AfD, or the size of the AfD, would be a hugely controversial and dangerous event in Germany. Given the geographical split in Germany, it would be even more dangerous. I hope that there are people like perhaps the President Steinmeier, who's said to be, I mean, he's complete political class, but he's said to be a little bit more connected to reality than some people. I hope that there are people in Germany who understand how risky such a move would be and how potentially destabilizing it would be. But, if it's done, I can imagine that this long period of stability that we've seen in Germany, going all the way back to the 1950s, might finally come to an end.
Do you see a foreign hand in any of this? Because,
Well, of course.
Germany is just under attack. You can just call it like it is. It really is. I mean,
Yeah.
in this whole, Ukraine, Russia, NATO conflict, one of the targets for destruction, not by Russia, one of the targets for destruction has clearly been Germany.
Absolutely.
Economic destruction and societal destruction.
Absolutely. I mean,
Do you see a foreign hand in all of this, or am I exaggerating? And this
no,
is
I don't think
purely a
you're
domestic
exaggerating at all. And
issue.
I'm sure that there are people from the US, let's call the spade a spade, from the US, from Britain, even just, people, Macronists in France and people in Brussels who are urging these moves, partly for the reasons that you said. But don't underestimate the German political class's willingness to go down this route. Remember Annalena Baerbock in Prague saying, that even if people protest, she's going to stick to the policy, the pro-Ukraine policy, no matter what. And we already said that was an inherently anti-democratic statement that she was making. And, if these people in the German political class feel themselves threatened by the rise of a party like the AfD, and, the Greens are apparently slipping, even as the AfD is rising, well, I can very easily see how members of the political class in Germany might want to start taking these kind of steps, even without, the whispered urgings that they're probably getting from abroad.
Boy, dark times for Germany.
Well, dark times for Germany, dark times for Europe, dark times for the West. I mean, I still hope that this doesn't happen. I still hope, as I said, that there's enough people with sanity and reason in Germany to understand what an enormous and momentous step this would be. But I used to think that, I said, sanctions, they can't possibly cut themselves off from all of that. I mean, they'll never, they can't do these things. And they went ahead and did them. So, I've come to realize that relying on people's reason and sense and rationality, even in Germany now, perhaps especially in Germany, well, isn't a very safe thing to do. So, I hope we don't get there. I can't pretend that I'm sure that we won't. And it will be very dark times if these sort of things are done.
What's the AfD's stance towards the war in Ukraine? Do you know? Is it a
Well,
unified
I think it's conflicted.
position, or is it fragmented?
I think it's fragmented. I think the official position is that they support Ukraine. I think that they don't actually come out straightforwardly and say, this war is a mistake. But what they are saying is that the sanctions are just a mistake, that this thing has gone too far. I think they're taking a very complicated position because, again, I think they're intimidated. They don't want to be classified as a Putinist party. And, of course, it won't make any difference because if a decision is made to ban them, they'll be called a Putinist party, whatever they say.
Yeah, well, that Putin thing really has a lot of mileage.
Absolutely. No, I would say this actually, and just to finish on the video. And here I'm going to be straightforward. I don't know to what extent this is true, but somebody from Germany contacted me, and they seem to know what they're talking about. And they say that the Vice Chancellor Habeck, whenever he's told things that he doesn't like to hear, he says immediately these are Putinist talking points. And apparently a number of people who said these things to him have been investigated in some ways because, in case they're Russian agents of influence and that sort of thing. And they've even, again, I don't know this for a fact, but, it might be true, it might not be true. People can come back and tell us. But, there's even apparently been some cases when people have been investigated and have been cleared. But if it is true, it's consistent with the general mood in Germany.
Okay. The Duran.locals.com. Look for us also on Rockfin as well. I will have the link down below. And Duran Shop. 10% off. Use the code. Good day. Take care.